Hi, I want to welcome you back to Online Course and Info Product Marketing Domination. Today, we have another interview with Carl Vanderpal. To give you a little background, Carl is an online marketing expert and has been making money online for 25 years now. He has helped a number of people reach the 2 Comma Club Award, which is any funnel that makes over $1 million in sales. He's passionate about helping people, including health-wise, and he currently lives in Queensland, Australia. Carl, how are you doing today?
Good, thanks. Yeah, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, thank you for coming on. So let's just get straight into it. So can you tell us your story, how you got into the online space, the info marketing space?
Well, it actually started, funny enough, as a joke back in the mid-90s when my boss at the time, when I was still working in corporate, and a couple of little magazines came out and they had like how to build a web page. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. And me being the study person that I am, I thought, okay, I'll just like learn stuff. And then my boss said, like at the time, he goes, look, I think this internet thing might be here to stay. So this is pretty much like in the early stages of like an internet. It wasn't like I was the only one in the whole company that actually had the internet connection. And if anyone had to send an email back to our head office in Germany, then I was the one that had to sort of send it off. And so then as it grew from there, then a number of people reached out to me with regards to building them a website. And so it's sort of like one after the other. And then numerous customers came in at the time. And then I had more customers outside than I had, like I was doing more work outside than I was at my current job in the corporate. So in 2000, I literally stepped away from the corporate and haven't looked back since. And that was literally 20 years ago, coming this June. And so it's been a good journey. And then in that time, I've learned, I've literally been mostly self-taught with regards to Photoshop, Illustrator, all the sort of graphic side, taught myself all the page layout design. Actually, I learned how to code as well. So I taught myself design, development, and marketing, so I can be more rounded when I come into serving clients. And as a result of that, it's literally landed me some quite lucrative jobs and customers. My customers or clients, they've literally stayed with me anywhere from 8 to one of them stay with me close to nearly 14, 15 years now. So the long-termness of my relationship with my clients, because they know they get good value. They know they're not going to get stuffed around. They're going to get a good-looking website or funnel. And in that time as well, it's now opened up. It originally started as just website design and graphic design and a few other things. And then I grew it as a part of an agency. Then I went through some tough times, which I'll get into later. But then I started when funnels came out. Funny enough, I'd actually built I had a team of developers, and we kind of developed a micro version of something like a ClickFunnels in order to do the one-click upsells, that sort of thing there. And so then we launched several sites, and we did quite well. One of them did about 400,000 on their first launch, $400,000 on their first launch, and with a reasonably small list in a interesting niche within Australia, and it was all to do with fishing. And so that was not the usual make money online. I've all the ones that I've helped reach the 2 Comma Club have always been outside of the usual internet marketing / make money online. Most of them have been in the health space, but one of them, as I said, I've helped him do quite a number of things with regards to fishing. And we were in, I think it was 2015 and 2016, we actually built him an online application, which is like a Netflix knockoff, but just for streaming fishing videos. So all the local guys that have been on TV over the last 20, 30 years, we literally just got all of their content, digitized it, and literally put it all onto line. So now they've got 20 streaming channels of just fishing all day long. And they pay a monthly subscription, and that's doing quite well now. And he also has the TV show that goes along with it for his own stuff. And he surprises fishermen all around Australia, and he literally just rocks up to their workplace and tells them, like, hey, drop everything right now. You're coming away with me on a fishing adventure of a lifetime. And they're just gobsmacked because they get a surprise. And then as a part of that, as a part of the deal that we, for the show that we created, was to make it quite unique and to help us build the database. And as a result of that, as I said, we did quite well on all of his launches there. So, and then coming up to today, most of my 2 comma clubs that I've helped clients achieve, typically several of them have been, they're about to do a 3rd one in June, which will no doubt hit the 2 comma club as well. Then another one was actually in real estate. We grew from about $700,000 a year to I think about 1.8 in about 6 months. And that was in the whole real estate sort of market. And but rather than buying just houses, he was doing they call it a multiplex. So 200 and 300 units at a time. So he had a course on that, and we just helped him grow it, consolidate a lot of stuff, and literally more than sort of doubled his income within 6 months.
Wow, that is awesome. You have quite the experience. So obviously we can move on to our next question. 25 years of making money online. You had to come some trials. So what were some trials, and what did you have to do to overcome them?
Yeah, there was when the year 2000 hit, literally probably about 9 months after I started my business, there was a thing called the .com crash around 2000, 2001, and that hit everyone hard. So I had to literally just in order to sort of put food on the table, I literally had to go out and go work some just sideline jobs in order to get some stuff at least happening. But funny enough, I sort of made it through. And then no doubt around 2008, there was a whole lot of hit there as well with the economic collapse. But in Australia, we seemed to be a little sheltered, so we didn't get as hard as the US. We still did get hit hard. And then once again, we had another a mini crash around about 2013, 2014. So there's been a few crashes, and what I've had to do is think of unique ways of thinking outside the box in order to still generate some income. Because a lot of the time, if you don't have, if you want to call it recurring income. So what I've done is I've actually in all of this, I've actually created my own hosting company. So I host all of my client stuff most of the time, unless they've come prepared and bring their own hosting solution. Then typically, at least I'm getting a monthly income coming in to literally help me get through the tough times. So yeah. So I would suggest to everyone out there, think of, even if it's maintenance programs, whether it's hosting or anything like that, you can pick up some reasonably priced, what they call virtual private servers or VPSs for $50, $60 a month. Then you can just divvy it up into, let's just say you have, 20 clients. They're all paying $50 to $100 a month. So at least that's some income coming in monthly to at least tie you over if you're going through some tough stuff, because people still need hosting or maintenance, that sort of stuff. They're probably may not necessarily be as much maintenance than it is for the hosting. So if you're charging, say, $20 to $100 a month, and then you just divvy up a server and you're paying $60, and you got, say, 20 clients on there, even 10 clients, that makes sure that you're paying or covering your costs there and making some profit over the top.
Wow, that's awesome. Those are some nice tips too tied into that. So when you decided, can we just talk about what point did you feel like you found success? Or let's put this in a 2-part question. At what point were you able to quit your job, and at what point did you feel successful? Because I know quitting your job might not feel that you were successful. Maybe they're the same for you.
Well, for me, I've always been an entrepreneur. I started my first business when I was 20. My dad and myself bought into a pizza shop. It looked lucrative at the time, but little did we find out later that the guy had 2 sets of books. And yeah, so it wasn't doing as well as what it should have been doing according to his paperwork that he sold us in on. So in that sort of case there, we had to close the business. And as a 20-year-old, being 100 grand, over like 100 grand, like I had to go like a loan to pay off. So I literally had to go like I find 3 and 4 jobs at a time in order to pay this whole loan off. And yeah, so like all my friends were like getting ahead, and here I am like stuck paying off like a debt of like 100 grand. So it's literally, so yeah, it sort of put me behind the 8 ball. But I've always had that like an entrepreneurial type spirit, because that's the kind of family I've sort of like reasonably grew up in. At least like Dad was like just doing he was like a subcontractor for a firm in Sydney. And so at least he, as I said, he put like food on the table for us and got us through school, all that sort of stuff. Then as I said, in the mid 90s, I was then working for corporate, and then it got to the point where I had that many customers with regards to getting work outside of my current corporate job. But what I did was I basically approached several of my business friends who have all had their own business. I said, look, here's my situation. Can you give me some fresh insight in case I'm not seeing it? But here's what I want to do is I want to step out of corporate and into my own thing. And they all looked at the whole business plan and they said, yeah, look, we think this internet's here to stay. And yeah, it's like they pretty much all 3 of them gave me the thumbs up. And as I stepped out, it was it was a bit of a confidence boost. And then, because I already had customers already, so I just didn't jump out and go, oh wow, now I've got to look for customers. No, I already had 10 to 12 customers already outside of that, and I'd already developed a number of different sites. So I was kind of burning the candle at both ends initially, and then once I stepped away from that, my buddy helped me out in giving me 6 months free rent in his unit. So he had a 6-bedroom unit, and he had 3 of them rented out for other businesses. And yeah, so I was just got rent free for 6 months, and then yeah, that sort of helped me get back up, get on my feet. And then after that, yeah, just literally paying some rent per week, and for the little unit there. And yeah, so it was quite well. And it just once it started to grow, then naturally people started to refer me until it got to the point of pretty much 100% referral now, that people just saw my stuff, liked it, and then approached me. And then they said, oh, we're talking to a colleague of mine, and they said, you do websites and you do marketing, can you take care of us for us? And as I said, it's just grown from there. Now it's to pretty much now, even though a lot of people don't know who I am, but a lot of people know exactly who my clients are. Yeah, because literally a lot of them have now become or gone on to become household names, whether in Australia or overseas.
That is awesome. So who exactly do you serve, and kind of what do you do primarily at this point?
At this stage, I'm looking, I'm basically building either sites, websites, but a lot of them typically at the moment are in the health or financial space. So we're currently doing a lot of stuff in crypto at the moment, and options trading. So that's the ones I'm building right now. And pretty much the rest of them are all in the health space. So the first docu-series that we did a launch on was all about overcoming autoimmune disease. The second one was overcoming diabetes and obesity. And these are documentary series all about, the first one was actually a doctor doing the interview questions. So he was the expert in the autoimmune space. Then the next one was actually a guy who suffered from diabetes and obesity, and it was his journey as you followed him reversing his diabetes and obesity, because he was something like 310 pounds, and he lost 100 pounds, reversed his diabetes, and he's literally reaching 500,000 people now with regards to his message. And yeah, so we launch that several times a year, and pretty much all takes off. And the other one, as I said, was in the real estate. Out of that now, but now I'm sort of in the helping these guys in the crypto / options trading, because of all these sort of stuff that's going on at the moment. It's quite volatile. Yeah, so we built several funnels there, and pretty much in a downward turning market, some of these guys invested 40 grand, and then within 30 days they're pulling out 1.5 million. because of all the sort of the sort of changes in the market. And coming up in June, we're launching the third docu-series, which is with a different doctor now. She's in the stem cell side of things. So she does stem cell therapy, and pretty much we've just about finished all the filming. And within the next 3 or 4 weeks, I'll be then starting to build out all the funnels. But pretty much I'll be doing, basically, if you want to call it funnel hacking, what I've done in the past. So I've got all my pages ready with regards to that. All I've got to do is just plop her content in, and literally pretty much turn the on button, and we'll get ready around about the June, July sort of space. And then that'll be like a soft launch. And then a few weeks after that, we'll then do like the major launch. And typically these things do from anywhere from, for the soft launch, we do anywhere from $200,000 to $500,000 in the first week, pretty much from the get-go. But in the big launch, we do from 1 to 2 million in the big launch within that first week, because that momentum's already there.
That's awesome. That is amazing. All right, so you have a lot of tips. Can you give us some, for specifically online space / info marketing, can you give us some marketing tips if maybe you're starting out or at that mid-level range?
Yeah, a lot of people focus in on product, where that's secondary in regards to solving a problem. Because if you understand how the whole system of Google and even YouTube work, is actually they're solving a problem. For example, anytime you search in Google, what are you searching for? Plumber in your suburb, weight loss in tips, or whatever the case is. So you're always searching for a solution to a problem. And a lot of times they go, oh, I just want to stuff this product into a market, rather than how can I solve people's problems? Because there's a lot of problems out there. And if you become a professional problem solver, regardless of what industry you're in, you will do very, very, very well.
That is an awesome tip. That's awesome. All right, let's go on to our last question. So what are your plans for the future, and how can people reach you if they want to do that?
Yeah, well, I'm looking to start my whole coaching side of things, because there's a lot of people out there that there's a lot of fluff and bubble, and meaning that there's a lot of hype, a lot of oh, I've been doing this and that, and pretty much a lot of hot air. But as well, even when I see the courses and I go through them, I'm still left wondering where the heck do I start? Where I've developed a little bit of a system as well, to show you it's what they call a process map, but it's a different one than the usual one, because you can literally follow this process map all the way through with no experience whatsoever, and then pretty much get to your end result, because I've broken it down piece by piece. And the same methodology that I've used in the process maps that's how they build space shuttles and very complex things. They go, if you don't want to miss a step if you're building a space shuttle, would you? So it's they have to literally document everything in order to go, if we wanted to replicate this, then we literally just follow this, and you cannot get to step 2 until you've completed step 1. Whereas a lot of the courses and a lot of the solutions that I see out there, they're just random thoughts, quickly, jabbed together and stuffed out there in the marketplace. And it's literally they're starting on step 17 and they haven't even done step 1 through 16 yet. Or it's just jumbled all over the place. They're trying to put the roof on the house before they've even laid the slab, or even dug around to even create the slab. So that's what I'm finding out there in the marketplace. There's a huge market for it. And coaches, there's going to be there's certain ones that are all the fluff and bubble. They won't last. Just like in the .com crash. Even though I survived through it, literally 90% of the people that were in the white pages and yellow pages back then, within 6 months of the yellow pages coming out, 90% of them were no longer in business because they couldn't survive. And that's the other thing we need to look at is, just because you want to jump on the bandwagon doesn't mean you'll make money. Just because some guru says oh, well, you can make lots of money. Look, I've made trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. It's just probably about 80% is probably just fake. But now that I've been looking at the courses and I'm looking at, man, I could probably put out something. And I've kind of withheld for quite a while. And I put something back out in 2011 and it did quite well. It was all to do with Google Maps and local search, that sort of thing, which included an SEO part. So for the future, I'm looking to move more into the coaching area because there's a lot of guys out there that are up and coming that I just want to impart some stuff to, so to see them successful. And to have those guys out there making an income, because look, like a lot of people treat the internet or making money online like a pie. Now the pie only has a certain amount of slices. So once all those slices are gone, they then create like what they call a scarcity. And so that's not how I see it. I see it as what we call apple strudel. Now apple strudel can be several miles long. So there's a piece for everyone. So regardless of when you're starting or how long you've been online, like I've been online 25 years, but yet and there's more opportunity now than there ever has been before. But if you're if you got your finger on the pulse and if you're talking to the real gurus that are not going to sort of lead you astray, then it's pretty much you'll find opportunity pretty much right under your nose. I mean, just like what we saw within, even when the whole cryptocurrency came out, there was a whole new industry just opened up. Everyone's like, oh, the internet is all maxed out. Everyone's made all their money. And then out of nowhere comes cryptocurrency or another sort of thing. We're around this, the whole situation we're going through right now. Everyone's selling toilet paper and hand sanitizer. So there's always an opportunity there. You just have to be in, if you want to call it, the right place at the right time as well. But also have your eyes open rather than going, oh, all the opportunity's gone. Then it's pretty much it will be for you, because that then literally shuts off your senses to picking up anything and having your finger on the pulse within the market. So that's pretty much headed. People can reach out to me either on Facebook or just look up my name. Or reach out to me on my website, which is carlvanderpal.com.
Awesome. And I'll put your stuff in the links below and all that. So cool. I want to thank you so much for coming on, Carl. You had some awesome tips and we'll see you around. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you.